up, people? It's your girl IJ. Welcome to my channel and welcome back if you've been here before. Today, we're going to be talking about something that I would say concerns everybody. And although my channel is about fashion, lifestyle hauls, I also talk about making money. And I'm not only speaking from a savings perspective, which I think is great. Savings is great, but for me, I think learning how to make more money is even more important because you kind of need that free income to actually save. Anyways, so the topic for today is freelancing. And what exactly is freelancing? Freelancing is essentially anything that you're doing outside of an employer-employee relationship. So you're not contractually obligated to this project or this company to perform functions as an employee. So you're essentially a consultant on different projects, and you can freelance anything really, from blog writing to social media marketing to graphic design to business plans. Anything is freelanceable. Yes, I just made a new word, freelanceable. Yeah, add that one to the dictionary. Anyways, so today we're going to be talking about my mistakes and the things that I did as a beginner freelancer that I think you should be aware of and just look out for. I've been freelancing since 2015, so I'd say, I'm a bit of a vet. And if you see these things early on in your freelance career, it will really help you to just take more charge of everything. So the very first one we're going to be talking about today is taking things too personal. I'll say it again, taking things too personal. So let's backtrack and think about being an employee, right? So as an employee, typically you're representing the company. You're representing the company for client relations. You're representing the company maybe even internally. So you have the brand reputation of the company to lean on. But as a freelancer, you are the company. So you're the person who's the marketing team. You're the person whose expertise and experience is coming to bear for projects. So building up that profile takes a lot of work. So it's no surprise that when you shoot out proposals and don't get any response, you get heartbroken. And sometimes it's a no, sometimes it's just a downright ignore you. No one's answering your messages. And that for a new freelancer can be a bit of a shock because you almost call into question. I know I used to call into question, like, am I really good at this? Do I really have the expertise to do this? Does anyone really need my help? Like, can I really add value? So those are the kind of questions you start to ask yourself when you're just getting no traction. But I have news for you. It's really not about you. Like, you've done nothing wrong. The problem is that, not problem, but the issue is that freelancing is extremely competitive. So you have a lot of people essentially hustling and struggling for the same jobs or the same projects. And if people are more established in the field, it's possible the client's going to choose them. And if you're a beginner, they're not so much going to want to try you out. You will have the ones that will try you out. But the point is, don't take it too personal. Like, really grow thick skin and just be like, okay, on to the next. You know what? Their luck. They locked out because I would have killed that project for them. That's the attitude you have to have. You just have to be ready to hear a lot of no's before you get your first yes. So think about it kind of like breadcrumbs leading you to the right projects. And you'll feel a lot better about it because there's nothing you can do but continue to apply and continue to just cast your net wide. It really is a numbers game as far as freelancing is concerned. The second mistake I made as a beginner freelancer was not knowing when to say no. So you're just starting off right off the bat. So you're super excited and you want to say yes to every project because you're just excited to get going and get started and get this experience. And these are the situations when you shouldn't say yes to a client. If you are too busy working on other projects, especially if you're working freelance along with your 9 to 5, just know when to say no. The second thing is, if the rate is just so low that it's way below what you will spend to execute as far as time. At first, it might be exciting because you have your project, but the reality is, depending on how long the transaction takes, the $10, $20 is not going to be worth it if you're working on a project for 3 months. At that point, you're just going to hate your life. The reason is where the client is rude, disrespectful, or unresponsive. And this is just generally a bad sign that the person is actually going to be a nice person to work with. And trust me, you don't want to work with anyone that's rude. It's kind of like, be on your way, I'll be on my way, let's not do this. And especially as far as like freelance platforms, um, rude clients or unresponsive clients, where it comes to bite you is afterwards when you're done the project and you need them to give you some sort of feedback, give you a good rating. That's when they would like really screw you over. So if from the bat your client is unresponsive or your client just seems pretty hostile, might be a good idea to just say no and not work with the client. The other reason is that the client doesn't pay. And I know you're saying, IJ, how will I know if the client doesn't pay if I haven't done the work? And there's no way to know unless maybe the client is on a freelance platform. And the good thing about being on a freelance platform is that you see a client's ratings, like the freelancers are also able to rate the client. So if you see a client who has a 3-star rating, just run, and go read the feedback that the other freelancers have given the client. Usually you'd see it. You'd see, oh, this client just stopped picking my calls. This client stopped messaging. And when you see all those things, red flag, just be like, I'm not doing it with this client right now. So the third mistake that I made as a beginner freelancer was over promising. So when you get started, or when I got started, I was so excited to finally get a project because of how competitive the market is. And so I started overcommitting to timelines. I'd say I can do it in a week, when in reality, I can do it in a week, but that's if I was doing nothing else. But when you have a 9 to 5 job, when you have other things you're working on, when you have life, like you have to give yourself time enough to actually go through the steps that are required to make this project successful. Because by overpromising and spending time on these projects, there is a huge opportunity cost of potential things you could have sort of slotted in your timeline, other clients and other projects you could have worked on, and obviously there's your mental health. You just need to chill. So overpromising is such a huge mistake, and even till today I struggle with overpromising and just working on too many projects at the same time, because I'm a bit of a workaholic, but I also like to build my roster of clients. So that just leads to a whole lot of overpromising and sleepless nights. See these bags? That's the result of that. So if you don't want this, like, just give yourself enough time. So the problem with being a yes freelancer and saying yes to everything and overpromising is you actually lose out on potentially great clients while you're working on bad contracts, or while you're working on too many contracts at the same time. And the second thing is obviously your quality of work will suffer. Like I know that when I'm stressed, when I have so much to deliver on, you tend to see like typos, like annoying typos. And that's where quality of work comes in, because you're overpromising. You're saying you're going to do too much in too little time. And the other thing is obviously disappointing your client, because if the timeline is unrealistic, chances are you're gonna miss the timeline. And what that will do is disappoint your client and lead to the next thing, which is just give you a bad reputation overall as a freelancer. So the fourth mistake that I made when I was a beginner freelancer was focusing on the wrong thing. So this one depends on why exactly you're going to freelancing. For some people, it might just be to make money. So you're trying to make money through doing everything or doing anything. For me, because I was working in investment banking and my timelines were so ridiculous, and I was looking at financial models and a lot of that financial stuff, I am a finance professional. I have my majors, my undergrad and grad degree were in finance, and I'm a CFA charter holder as well. So I just wanted a break from doing so much finance, and I wanted to freelance at first doing PowerPoint presentations, because I was known as the slide ninja in my days. I'm still a slide ninja. Like, I'm just good with presentations. So I really wanted to get on Upwork and be doing presentations so that it wasn't added stress to my day job. The only problem is, if you're like a finance major and you've been doing finance most of your career and you want to do presentations, the client is probably just going to look for a graphic designer to do their PowerPoint presentations. Like, just makes sense. They're going to look for the person that is actually skilled to do that specific niche. And I found that's why I was struggling in the early days with actually getting contracts. And obviously, there are a lot of confidentiality that has to do with working in investment banking. So presentations was a way not to sort of cross that. And so for the longest time, I just wasn't doing anything in freelance. I had to just kind of sit and try to get a presentation gig here and there. But when I finally was able to take on contracts in finance, so business plans, financial models, that's when everything kind of just took off for me. Why? Because first of all, not many people can do what I do. So there is a premium that they're paying on the market for people like me doing my specialized type of work. So I know we've been hearing niche down in every single sector: social media niche down, your blog niche down, YouTube niche down. But this one, you really do have to niche down. In the beginning, as a beginner freelancer, you can try doing a lot of things, but you should kind of keep it in the same lane or in the same category. And these are the benefits of actually niching down. The first benefit is you're building a portfolio of clients that are in your niche. So that way, when you have other projects, you can refer to the previous projects and be like, hey, here's what I've worked on before, and here's how your project fits into that. Clients always love to see that. And the second thing is you're developing so many of the same type of deliverables that each becomes a template for the next. The third benefit of choosing a niche is you can focus on increasing your client experience beyond just delivering on a project. I say that to say things like, for me, for instance, I'm able to give my clients a questionnaire that's focused on their business and focused on maybe delivering on a business plan. So that way, when they get that questionnaire right off the bat, they're like, oh, she's professional. So you get your questionnaire, you get your timeline, and it gives you that confidence, and you're dealing with someone who actually knows what you're doing, specifically in what you want. So the fourth is you learn what clients want to hear, right? So the first time it might be a surprise because you're not quite sure, oh, what does he want? What does she want? But by the time you've done so many in the same niche, it's kind of like just experience. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again in different sectors potentially, but the same types of things, you kind of just get really good really quickly, and you're able to deliver very, very quickly, and you're able to know what the client wants. So right off the bat, in those initial conversations, when they're still deciding what freelancer should I use, they're going to choose you because you know your stuff. And by stuff, I mean you. Okay, yeah. Anyways, so the last mistake that I made when I was a beginning freelancer was underselling myself. Oh my, this is one of the biggest things that freelancers always sort of struggle with in the beginning, just underselling yourself because of how competitive the market is. So if this is you, don't feel any type of way, because everyone's been there, and pricing yourself is just such a difficult thing to do as a freelancer. So I will do subsequent videos about prices to charge and how to figure out what to charge clients, and like just different videos on freelancing on this channel. So subscribe if you want to see some of that. So my advice as far as strategies is your proposals, when you're pitching to clients, should just focus on key things. Focus on how you can help the client work through their problems. That way it's not about you, it's about how you can help. So then you focus on the client, and they love that. Clients love when you're all about them, all about them. Who doesn't like being vain, right? So that's a big one. Just focus on the client and not on yourself. That's a major one as far as what your proposal should do. The second one is getting your clients talking and sharing as much information as you can get. The more you can get, the more you're able to deliver on what exactly they want. The third thing is making your client comfortable with you as a person. I say it a lot in life, and I'll say it here on my channel. Personality wins. Like, personality wins. Like, you can know a lot, but if you have a terrible personality, nobody's going to give you a shot, because you're just like not a nice person to work with or be around. So personality matters, and everybody wants to work with a human being, not a robot who's just there to work and go away. And the last thing is connecting with your client. Like, and it also has to, it's kind of like the same thing as your personality, but it's more, how can you connect with this client? Are they from Canada and you're from Canada? Are they in Europe and you were in Europe last year? Like, those kind of things just build a rapport, and they're able to be like, oh, okay, this is someone I can work with. I can roll with her. And these are things that you can do to just boost yourself and not focus on what might be your insecurities as a beginner freelancer. So yeah, so those are 5 of my mistakes. Trust me, there are many more, but I'll leave you with these ones, and let me know in the comments. Let me know if there's anything that stood out to you. Let me know if you're considering freelancing, so that I know that my future videos would be for you. And yeah, just share this video with anyone who's considering. We're getting into a new year, so this is the best time to start planning for how to earn additional income. So these are tips that might come in handy for you and for your family and for your friends. So don't forget to subscribe. It's been awesome gisting with you as always. So yeah, subscribe and come back. Bye.